All right, I'll call the number.
Larry King Live, weeknights 9 Eastern on CNN.
From the heart of New York City, this is Lou Dobbs' Moneyline. Here now, Lou Dobbs.
Good evening. The spike in unemployment during August was bombshell news on Wall Street and, of course, in Washington. Democrats have seized on that information and they have launched a rancorous fight over who's to blame for this slowing economy. Tim O'Brien reports from Washington.
With all 435 House seats up for grabs in next year's congressional election, President Bush's prescription for the country's declining economy is sure to have consequences political as well as economic. So far, little has worked, and last week's gloomy employment report has led some analysts to warn that consumer confidence, the mainstay of the economy, may be the next casualty.
The time to act is now. The longer you wait, consumer confidence is going to grow worse, business outlook will grow worse, and it'll be much harder to get it started again.
Republicans say the administration's program needs more time and may yet include other remedies, like cutting payroll taxes and capital gains taxes.
It may be necessary for us to act on the capital gains rate cut because it will clearly cause a growth in the economy. It always does. And as an aside, it brings in more revenue to the government, particularly in the first couple of years.
What we need is a tax cut that will put money in people's pockets quickly. Capital gains tax doesn't do that. Second, in the current investment environment, people are unlikely to go out and sell stocks that are at very depressed levels.
Conrad says the administration's tax rebate was too small to have any impact, and the long-term cost of the president's tax cut is too expensive. And what should Congress do now? One political economist says nothing.
My guess is that what is in place is appropriate. We've got our tax cut, and I think anything that the Congress does now will probably be viewed as messing up.
Alperstein predicts the economy will be turning around by early next year at the latest. The timing will be critical as it could set the frame the debate for the elections that follow. Lou?
Tim, thank you very much. Tim O'Brien from Washington. Also in Washington, the Defense Secretary today declared war on Pentagon bureaucracy. Donald Rumsfeld is in the midst of a sweeping and controversial review of the military, and his speech today made clear that reform will include Defense Department job cuts. Secretary Rumsfeld joins us now from Washington. Mr. Secretary, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Lou. Good to be here.
Walter Wriston once said to me that bureaucracy is a state of mind. And that state of mind has, as you well know, better than I suspect anyone, gripped the Pentagon for a very long time. Will you be able, do you believe, to change the culture there?
Oh, I think we will. You know, if you think about it, in the private sector, a company that fails to adapt to new circumstance fails and dies. In government, it can't die, so it goes on. So the incentive to adapt is much less. We need to fashion incentives and disincentives that will enable us to be much more innovative and much less bureaucratic. And we've got wonderful people here who want this place to work well for the taxpayer, and we have to be respectful of the taxpayers' dollars. So I think we'll be successful.
Successful, you pointed out today in your speech, as you have previously, that if you achieve savings of only 5%, the Pentagon budget's so vast that would save some $18 billion. How quickly can you save that 5%? Because you have about 2 million employees. No company in the world has anything approaching that.
Well, it takes some time, and indeed, as you know, sometimes you need to invest some money up front to make savings. For example, we're going to have to revamp our financial system so that we can actually understand what's taking place. At the present time, the financial systems aren't capable of tracking some $2.6 trillion worth of transactions.
Not capable? How soon could they be made capable?
Well, it looks like we've got a good chunk in the budget to get after it, and it looks to me like it could take 2 or 3 or 4 years. So during that period of time, it could cost us some money. On the other hand, we can increase our so-called tooth-to-tail ratio rather smartly, I think. We can take what I believe to be a very reasonable 15% cut in the tail, in the headquarters staffs, as opposed to our forces. And we've got a lot of people who want to do that. They recognize that these layers of bureaucracy here slow us down, make us less innovative. We're not as capable of dealing with problems in the time frame that's necessary. So I think we'll get a lot of good support.
A lot of good support. You pointed out that the president has indeed mandated these changes. Nonetheless, also, as you're pointing out, it is a difficult mission by any stretch of the imagination. What is the first guidepost here, the first benchmark that we'll see, the date and the point to say Donald Rumsfeld is succeeding or not succeeding as he revamps the bureaucracy in the Pentagon?
Well, there are going to be so many pieces to what we're doing, but one of the first things that will happen is we brought in 3 service secretaries who all have proven track records in the private sector. They're determined, they're experienced, they're talented, and I have every confidence that they'll be successful. They're going to be announcing significant changes in how the secretariats function with the military staffs in the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force in the period immediately ahead. Second, we will be seeing the effects of a 15% cut of headquarters over a period immediately ahead. And in addition, we're going to establish some ways to measure. You know, what you measure improves. It gets better. And once you establish those metrics and announce them and track them, good things happen.
As you know, Mr. Secretary, Time Magazine, other publications have basically pronounced your efforts to overhaul the Pentagon and to eliminate the bureaucracy as already defeated. Do you want to comment on those early forecasts?
Well, you know, if you're doing something, somebody's not going to like it, and there's no question but that when you set out to take an enormous bureaucracy like this and to try to bring it into the 21st century, there are going to be a lot of people who are not going to like it because it's going to affect their circumstances. But you know, that's the way it is in life. We're just going to plow ahead. If there's a struggle, so be it. We're ready for it.
Mr. Secretary, good to have you with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Lou.
Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld. Well, today it was a difficult and volatile session on Wall Street. The Dow at one point down more than 100 points, but after a day's movement in prices, the indexes didn't budge much. The NASDAQ ended higher for only the second time in 10 sessions, and both averages are still trading near their spring lows. But again, as I said, not much movement in those indexes today. Christine Romans, Greg Clarkin kick off our market coverage tonight. Christine, with you at the New York Exchange.
Lou, the S&P 500 did manage to break a 4-session losing streak, but just barely. The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended just about exactly where it started. Pent-up selling afflicted the market early, but then the bottom fishers stepped in when the bottom didn't fall out, and the Dow closed flat. Still, it stopped last week's sell-off, but the worry is that the worst is not behind us. Look what Lehman Brothers' Jeff Applegate said today. He says there will be another leg down in the economy and profits. The trough in stocks lies ahead, not behind. He cut his earnings expectations for the S&P for this year and next, also his year-end targets for the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Also holding the bulls back here, the confession season. It's just getting underway. Already, 407 companies have warned for the third quarter. That's on track to make a record, and Wall Street sees profits falling 17% for S&P 500 companies in the period. So that is a backdrop that has folks a little bit nervous. Still, chatter again today, Lou, about the Fed and whether it could come in with some sort of intermeeting move. JP Morgan is predicting that is likely this week, 25 basis points. Traders on the floor are saying they'd like to see it, but they think the Fed's going to look at the rest of the data and wait till October 2nd. Lou?
How much lower do you think the averages would go, Christine, if the Fed cut interest rates again?
Well, if it's a surprise, there could be a knee-jerk rise up. But you're right. The Fed's been cutting all year, and it hasn't helped very much at all. In fact, it's hurt more than anything else.
You know, I think we should also point out that Jeff Applegate posting a 4% gain in the S&P 500. That doesn't, at first, of course, sound like much. But that means the S&P 500 actually would have to gain about 26, 27% from here by year's end to meet that 4%, right?
Absolutely. And he sees 11,500 on the Dow as well. So, yeah, we'd have to see some sort of rally heading into the end of the year for those to be met. It's interesting stuff.
Christine, thanks, as always, for providing such interesting stuff, as you put it. The NASDAQ, as I said, did budge, but barely, managing a 7-point gain, breaking a 4-session losing streak as well. Greg Clarkin has a story for us from the NASDAQ market site. Greg?
And Lou, you know, this was hardly anything to get excited about today. And some traders said actually it was more aggravating than anything in that they believe it delays the inevitable, and they believe there'll be another bout of selling to hit the tech stocks, sparked by some profit warnings that could be in the next couple of weeks. But all in all, the Nasdaq did gain almost 8 points. It closed at 1695. Some of the big winners today included companies that supply chips and circuits into the wireless business, into the telecommunications devices. One of those companies posted a nice gain today. It was Anadigix. It was up 19.4%. And this despite the fact that the company said it will lose more than expected for the quarter, but revenue will be higher than expected due to the strength in its wireless business. Now take a look at some of the related stocks, such as RF Micro Devices, which came out today and said that its quarter is shaping up better than expected, and that is due to the strength in the wireless arena. That stock a big gain. A related company, Triquint Semiconductor, also posting a gain. Microsoft up about 4% on a report in the Wall Street Journal that the company is drafting a new proposal for another round of settlement talks in its antitrust battle. And then Yahoo, on the back of a U.S. Bancorp Piper Jaffray upgrade, was up almost 9% or so, closing at 1174 on the day. So internet stocks, wireless stocks among the winners today. But Lou, all in all, a lot of folks not excited by the activity today at all.
And you said the traders were aggravated, is that right?
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting to see the pessimism among the traders on what was an up day.
We don't want those traders aggravated. Calm them down, relax them a little bit.
It's tough to do.
Thanks, Greg. The economy obviously slowing, but the housing market is booming, especially in Orange County, California. We'll have that report as well as a look at the national housing prices. And Blockbuster shaking things up. We'll tell you what's behind the company's move from tapes to DVDs and what it's going to cost. All of that is ahead on Moneyline. Stay with us.
Lou Dobbs Moneyline is brought to you by Merrill Lynch Wealth Management, advice in personal financial planning to help simplify your life.
This is Joe, and this is Jim. Joe never developed a disciplined investment strategy with a Merrill Lynch financial advisor. Jim did. Joe never created a diversified portfolio to prevent him from overreacting to ups and downs in the market. Jim did. And now, even though he's never at a loss for ways to fill his day, Joe spends a lot of time wondering why he didn't do exactly what Jim did.
How can you provide for the future of the people who depend on you? With the power of Pacific Life. For over 130 years, Pacific Life has improved the lives of millions with investments, annuities, and insurance. Because careful planning today can help them reach their dreams tomorrow. Discover the power of Pacific Life.
When your future stays. Throwback. VC.
Over 700 VC deals. Last 2 years.
Billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars.
Need funding to launch a brilliant idea? Brobeck. The law firm. When your future is at stake.
He says he talks to the dead. Skeptics say no way. Can he really speak to the other side? An extraordinary hour with renowned psychic John Edward. He'll take your calls. Tonight, 12 a.m. Pacific on Larry King Live. Is he the best CEO of our time? GE's Jack Welch joins us to talk about his career and his new book. Plus, what makes Tyco International run like a top? We'll ask CEO Dennis Kozlowski on Lou Dobbs Moneyline. Tomorrow, 6 Eastern on CNN.
Well, this economy may be slowing, but so far the real estate market has remained strong. In places like Orange County, California, in fact, it is so strong that people are literally lining up around the block for the chance to buy a home. Casey Wyan has the story.
We got from, how many, 63 down to 28, so.
Lori Schlegel is plotting strategy. The Huntington Beach homeowner wants to buy a new home in a market so hot, she's camped out for 36 hours just to get her name on a builder priority list.
We bought a home about 2 years ago, did quite well on it. We bought brand new. We decided we wanted to go a little larger and closer to the ocean, so we're going to take our profits and get what we really want.
What everyone here really wants is to go home, but they're not willing to give up a chance at a prime piece of the nation's hottest residential real estate market.
Me and I are going to be here the next 2 nights. We'll just figure out how to do it.
We knew there was high interest level. We didn't think people would be so enthusiastic about the properties that they would actually camp out for 4 days waiting just to get a priority number.
Orange County home prices have jumped 14% in the past year. The median price is now nearly $360,000. Even with the slowing economy, 39,000 new jobs were created in Orange County during the past 12 months, but only 9,000 new homes were built here. That imbalance is expected to keep prices high for the foreseeable future.
I'm expecting Orange County to stay near the top. I think we have our tech sector here, which has obviously taken a hit. We've also got a strong financial services sector, a strong pharmaceutical sector. We're fairly diversified.
That optimism is convincing thousands of people, including laid-off tech workers, to become realtors. Membership in the Orange County Realtors Association has more than doubled since 1997.
We've all had listings in which we would get 4, 5, 6 offers. Sometimes the property would go for more than the asking price.
Real estate veterans know any hot market can cool quickly, and existing home sales have slowed recently. Still, prices remain high, unlike other investments.
The stock market, again, has just been like this, and property values in Orange County have sustained themselves.
With her name on the list, Schlegel heads home, confident she's investing time and money wisely.
We're out of here!
Casey Wyan, CNN Financial News, Huntington Beach, California.
Up next on Moneyline, a good day for tobacco stocks, bad for fiber optics. We'll take a look at some of the winning and losing sectors on the day. Also, Americans say, I want my DVD, and Blockbuster is ready to give it to them. We'll have the latest for you on the company's new strategy.
Moneyline Focus is brought to you by Charles Schwab. When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we also created a smarter kind of investor.
Yes.
What do you say to investors who are a little frightened of the current market?
Is this a good time to get out?
What if the downtrend continues?
First, just relax. When markets are down, we all get fearful about it. Investing is about the long term. If you have a few bonds in your account, a little bit of cash, a little bit of stock, you can weather almost any kind of a market.
To learn more, call 1-800-3-SCHWAB today to sign up for our complimentary workshop, Navigating Today's Market.
It's easy to take electricity for granted. A lot of us aren't even sure where it comes from. So we're sometimes surprised to learn that over half of the electricity we use comes from coal.
Mrs. Windler!
And thanks to a $50 billion investment in clean coal technologies by America's electric utilities that use coal, it's getting cleaner every day, helping us protect something we can't take for granted: our environment.
What kind of rooms you got?
King size.
You got room service?
Donuts and coffee.
Got entertainment?
All rooms have every movie ever made in every language, anytime, day or night.
How is that possible?
This is the technology that makes it happen. This is Riding the Light. Quest.
Tonight's Sectors Report is brought to you by Fidelity Investments. We can help you see yourself succeeding.
Taking a look at some of the winning and losing sectors of the day, among the worst performing groups, fiber optics components down more than 5% today. Avicii Systems losing more than a quarter of its value after warning it would post a larger than expected loss. Corning, Ciena also dragging the group lower. Electronic retailers down 4% today. Shares of Circuit City down another $1 after plunging more than 20% Friday, that on disappointing same-store sales figures. Kodak leading photo equipment stocks lower today, that after shifting management of its struggling consumer imaging operations. And on the upside, Philip Morris lifting tobacco higher. Oil and gas drillers move up on the day. HMOs gaining more than 1%. Prudential upgrading the sector, saying the group has less to fear under the Bush administration. Coming up on Moneyline, the demise of the VHS tape is at hand, thanks to a push from Blockbuster. And a sluggish start to the fall movie season with some interesting results for us at the box office over the weekend. That story when Moneyline continues.
Sectors Report is brought to you by Fidelity Investments. We can help you see yourself succeeding. Log on to cnnfn.com/markets for the latest on all the stock sectors.
The market is throwing me off lately. Can Fidelity help me with some planning? Go through what I'm invested in, goals and so forth?
Of course. You know, now might be a good time to look at your entire portfolio.
Yeah? You can help?
Well, certainly. With Fidelity Portfolio Review, we can help you draw a complete picture.
Really?
Sure. Fidelity and non-Fidelity accounts, IRAs, 401k, stocks, mutual funds, even the effects of taxes.
How do we start?
Well, we meet in person or over the phone.
That's great. Let's get rolling.
For a free review of your portfolio, call 1-800-FIDELITY. As a National Car Rental Emerald Club member, you can bypass the counter, which saves time. Take the car of your choice, which saves time. And when Emerald Club members return their car, National will fill it up at gas station prices, which saves money and time. If we can give you 43 more minutes to enjoy Disney's newest theme park, Disney's California Adventure, then we've done our job. 43 minutes. How will you spend it? The Emerald Club from National.
You can go your own way.
The official car rental company of Disney's California Adventure in California.
He says he talks to the dead. Skeptics say no way. Can he really speak to the other side? An extraordinary hour with renowned psychic John Edward. He'll take your calls. Tonight, 12 a.m. Pacific on Larry King Live. Do bedfellows make strange politics? Are Capitol Hill couples starting to share the spotlight? And what about marriages that cross party lines? Greenfield at Large. Tomorrow, 10:30 Eastern on CNN.
DVDs are now catching on, and Blockbuster wants to accelerate it. The country's biggest video chain saying it will cut back on its VHS inventory to open up shelf space for digital video cassettes and players. The company also to take a $400 million charge for the third quarter, $50 million in the fourth, in order to account for all of the changes that are necessary. VHS tapes, as a result, could be heading the way of the 8-track. Hillary Lane has the report.
Sumati Prasad is a living, breathing example of why Blockbuster is changing.
1406.
An early fan of DVD, she can't always get what she wants.
It's still a small quantity, but compared to when they initially came out, which was, I think, around 97, it's still a lot.
And when a renter or buyer like Prasad can't find her choice, she goes elsewhere.
If Blockbuster doesn't have the selection that consumers want, they go on the internet and they buy them themselves. So what Blockbuster's announcement is simply a reflection of marketplace reality.
VHS titles outnumber DVDs by 10-1, but the landscape is changing at time-warp speed, pushed along by retailers like Blockbuster, who have begun selling not only movies, but machines.
We're just using hardware as a promotion to get people to transition to DVD.
DVD is shaping up to be the fastest growing consumer electronics product of all time, beating even the CD player. Manufacturers, including Sony, Toshiba, and JVC, sold 1 million units by their second year and forecast sales of 12.5 million units this year, putting DVDs in a fifth of American homes in just 5 years. By comparison, it took the VCR more than a decade to reach 20% penetration, although in the mid-1970s, the home entertainment trend was just beginning.
Now, it's unlikely that DVD will altogether replace VHS in the near future because the basic DVD machines still lack one important feature. They don't record. Though a recent survey from the Consumer Electronics Association found that only 40% of VCR owners actually record on their machines. Lou, I think it's because they don't know how to work them.
That could possibly be.
Myself as well.
All right, Hillary, thank you. Well, the New York Times called it a frantic, graceless confusion devoid of magic and playfulness. Those movie critics have a lot of fun, don't they? That didn't stop moviegoers from going to The Musketeer and making it the top-grossing film of its debut weekend in what was a slow beginning to the fall movie season. It's a film that received better reviews, and it cost far less to make, and it came in second. Two Can Play That Game, it's called. It took in more than $8 million, rounding out the top 5, Rockstar, Jeepers Creepers, and still the others. Coming up next, why some of you think that perhaps we should focus on some better news. We'll take a look at your email, and I'll look ahead at tomorrow.
My name is Mac Maharaj. During my long imprisonment with Nelson Mandela on Robben Island, all news was forbidden. However, we obtained The Economist under the pretense that we needed it for our study of economics. The authorities later discovered their mistake and the subscription ended. Today, we're free to read what we choose.
Tomorrow, Vitesse Semiconductor, after the market closed, the company warning it expects to lose 12 to 15 cents a share compared to previous expectations of a loss of 9 cents. Quarterly results from H.J. Heinz and Neiman Marcus are due out tomorrow as well. Jack Welch, the CEO of the Century, will be our guest here tomorrow night to talk about his new book, Jack, Straight from the Gut. And now taking a look at your comments. Alex writing in with a question about one of our new colleagues, writing to ask, when will Kathleen Hayes join Moneyline? Well, in fact, she will join us 1 week from tonight, September 17th, and we're, of course, all eager to welcome her aboard. On to the markets and the economy. Several viewers criticizing us and the media as a whole for focusing too much on bad news. One particularly harsh message. All that I have been hearing from you guys is sob, sob, sob. Has it never occurred to you that this sob stuff only serves to upset the consuming public? I hear nothing but the grumpies. What about the sectors that aren't in the pits? Fair enough. Let's take a look at some of those pockets of strength tonight. The top 5 best performing industries year to date. Office equipment up nearly 50%. Toys, consumer services, both up more than 30%. Auto parts, precious metals, both higher by more than 20%. We could also mention that communications technology has dropped nearly 65% in oil drilling, down more than 40%, but I won't. And just to show you, you can't please everyone, Jeffrey in Montreal writes in to say he seems to think we aren't bearish enough. He writes, I'm tired of all the hype that this is the bottom. In fact, we should be hearing the presses start printing the official line. We're in a recession. And finally, Stefan in Austria writing into us to say, Lou, in my opinion, the only recession-proof industry will be analyzing the recession. Well, Stefan, you could well be right. Please send us your comments at moneyline@cnn.com. And that is Moneyline. Thanks for being with us. I'm Lou Dobbs. Good night from New York.
Tomorrow on Lou Dobbs Moneyline, some say he's the best CEO of our time. Jack Welch talks about his career and his new book. And Tyco International CEO Dennis Kozlowski talks about his company's amazing growth. Tomorrow on Lou Dobbs Moneyline.
Speak out on television's daily interactive town meeting. Join Bobby Batista for Talk Back Live, weekdays 3 Eastern on CNN.
I'm Lori Farkas for Dish Network FYI. Do you have a certain group of regular television channels that you always watch? Then you should set up a favorites list. To begin, press your menu button and select Favorites option. You can create and change the list yourself, adding and removing channels as you wish. When you make your list active, your program guide displays only the channels in that list. There are many ways to customize favorites to suit your needs.
Now from Dish Network, a great movie offer. Order Stars, and you'll get 7 additional premium movie channels free. That's 8 movie channels for the price of 1. All from the Stars Super Pack, #1 in new hit movies. Over 500 movie choices every month. 8 movie channels for the price of 1. Only $10.99 a month. The Stars Super Pack. 8 movie channels for the price of 1. Call now. 1-800-333-DISH.
I've been waiting a long time for this moment to come. Downtown, lights will be shining on me like a new timer. Well, I'm so much closer.
Life's greatest adventures are the ones you don't plan. Going to California, premiering this month, only on Showtime.
Pine Mountain, Georgia offers everything you want to do and see in Georgia. Pine Mountain, the gateway to Callaway Gardens. For a free book on things to see and do and places to stay, call this toll-free number.